the tools that create those super vivid pictures in your mind just by connecting one thing to another. This is all about the art of comparison.
So let's start with two of the heavy hitters, simile and metaphor. A simile makes a comparison using like or as. She sings like a bird. It's nice, it works. But a metaphor? It's way more direct, more powerful. It doesn't say her voice is like music. It says her voice is music. That directness is the key. It helps our brains grab a big, abstract idea by linking it to something we already know and feel.
Next, we've got personification, and this is where we bring the world to life. Instead of saying the wind was blowing, you could say the wind whispered secrets. Instead of just, the sun was out, you could say the sun smiled down on us. It's a really simple way to make your writing more imaginative and relatable. Because, let's face it, we humans love to see ourselves in everything.
Now, a more specific, almost cinematic version of this is called pathetic fallacy. This is when nature itself seems to feel what the characters are feeling. You see it in movies all the time, right? An angry storm during a huge fight scene or a gloomy, overcast sky at a funeral. The weather is literally mirroring the human emotion, making that feeling seem huge and inescapable.
Illusion. This one is like a cultural shortcut. It packs a huge amount of meaning into just a few words. If you say someone has the strength of Hercules or that they face their Waterloo, you don't need to explain anything else. You're instantly tapping into a whole story that everyone already knows. It's incredibly efficient. All right, on to our second category. Now we're looking at tools where a single word or a short phrase is actually a stand-in for a much, much bigger idea. These are what I like to call words in disguise. Okay, these two can be a little tricky, so let's break them down. Mid-enemy uses a closely related concept to stand in for something. We say, the White House announced, but we really mean the president and his administration. Synecdoche, on the other hand, uses a part to represent the whole, like saying all hands on deck when you mean all people, or check out my new wheels when you mean your whole new car. So think of it this way. One is about association, the other is about a literal piece of the thing. And here's a really dramatic one. You see this all the time in Shakespeare. Apostrophe is when a character suddenly starts talking to something that can't possibly answer back. Like looking up at the sky and yelling, "Oh, cruel fate, why do you torment me so?" It's all about amping up the passion and emotion of a moment.
I'm just going to ask that question, and I'll let it hang in the air for a second. A question that isn't really looking for an answer.
And there you have it. The question on the last slide was itself a rhetorical question. It's a classic tool. Speakers use it to make a point or to get the audience to agree with them without having to spell everything out. I mean, who doesn't know what a rhetorical question is? See? I just did it again. Okay, moving into our third section. This is where things get really interesting because these are the tools that play with reality. They bend and twist the truth to create emphasis and, believe it or not, to reveal a deeper kind of truth. So here we have two sides of the same coin. Hyperbole is just massive, over-the-top exaggeration for effect. You haven't literally told someone something 1,000 times. On the flip side, you've got understatement, which does the exact opposite. It minimizes something, like when a character in a movie has a huge gash on their arm and says, "It's just a scratch." Both of them work by playing with our expectations. Now, litos is a really subtle and kind of classy form of understatement. Instead of saying something is good, you say it's not bad. Instead of saying a result was expected, you might say it was not surprising. It's a clever, often polite way to confirm something without shouting it. Now let's talk about straight-up contradiction. An oxymoron is a tiny two-word contradiction that packs a punch, like deafening silence or sweet sorrow. A paradox is bigger. It's a whole statement that seems to make no sense on the surface, but actually contains a deep truth, like less is more, or you have to be cruel to be kind. One's a quick hit, the other's a puzzle to think about. Antithesis is all about power through balance and contrast. It takes two opposite ideas and puts them in a parallel structure, which makes the whole phrase feel incredibly profound and memorable. You know the classic, to err is human, to forgive divine. It's that perfect balance that makes the contrast pop. Okay, for our final section, we're shifting gears completely. We're going to stop focusing on what words mean and start listening to how they sound. We're talking about the rhythm, the flow, the music of language itself. And that's absolutely true. Sometimes the power of a phrase has nothing to do with its definition and everything to do with how it feels to say it, how it rolls off the tongue. The sound can be just as important as the sense. So let's run through these real quick. Alliteration is that repetition of sounds at the beginning of words. She sells seashells. Assonance repeats vowel sounds inside the words. Mellow wedding bells. Can you hear that eh sound repeating? Consonance repeats consonant sounds anywhere in the words. Pitter, patter. And my personal favorite, onomatopoeia, where the word is the sound. Buzz, bang, splash. It's so much fun.
And just like that, there you have it. We've gone through the whole toolkit, from making powerful comparisons, to using words as stand-ins, to twisting reality, and all the way to just making language sound cool. You're now equipped.
I mean, think about this famous quote for a second. The pen is mightier than the sword. This is a perfect, real-world example of metonymy. The pen isn't literally stronger than a sword. The pen stands for the power of ideas and words, and the sword stands for military force. See how that works? It's a tool we just talked about, used to express a huge idea in a simple, powerful way. So I guess the only real question left is, now that you can see the magic behind the curtain, now that you have the tools yourself,